Hi, this is Jill Varvel of the Dixiecast podcast, The Sound of the South. Have you ever considered purchasing real estate sight unseen? I know that in the past I've handled several transactions where my buyers had not necessarily laid eyes upon the home in which they purchased. And, we'd talk about it, and I had always perceived that to be somewhat risky, but I'd also understood that there are extenuating circumstances in which buyers elect to undergo this practice. I had never really thought much about it until I found myself last year doing just that, purchasing a piece of property without ever having laid eyes on it. And I have a little bit of a different perspective of it today, and I just like to share with you my experiences. If you have ever purchased real estate sight unseen, I would love for you to either like this video or share some of your comments on what worked for you. So one of the first pieces of advice that I would offer is to get with a realtor who is comfortable doing video. And I'm not talking a cinematographer. I'm just talking about someone who is comfortable with doing video, because in my estimation, a willingness to do video is as important, or perhaps even more important than ability, because MLS photos only go so far. They only show you so much. And it's important not only, of course, to see the home, and it's especially delightful when a home includes video, but what about the neighborhood? The second piece of advice I'd like to offer is make every effort, if you can, to be physically present for the home inspection. This will allow you as a buyer to get into contract on a given home and have it thereby removed from the open market so that other people can't potentially bid on it. But this allows you to undergo your contractual inspections and due diligence to determine if this is the right home for you. Most contracts provide for a 10-day home inspection contingency. And, you might not secure for yourself the most economical flight, but you will ensure an ability to get to the home and to physically lay eyes upon it and determine if it is the right home for you. One personal experience I can offer is I had a home that I had put an offer on sight unseen, and I had intended to be there for the home inspection. I had my flight booked and everything, but then due to an unforeseen circumstance, I was not physically able to be there. But my inspector fortunately called me right after he had concluded the inspection, and we talked about it, and I made the decision not to purchase the home at that point because I had deduced that the costs to repair the home were going to be more than I had cared to pay for. So that is a good piece of advice, but do be aware that some homeowners are not comfortable accepting offers from buyers who've not physically seen the home. And in some instances, they will ask for like a non-refundable earnest money deposit, or they will try to tighten up the home inspection period from 10 days to maybe like 5. So just something to consider. Thirdly, use Google Maps. Google Maps can be your best friend because it will allow you to examine the vicinity of the home. One home that I was looking at to purchase, I was kind of like honing in, zooming in, and I'm like, okay, it looks like there might be some blight in this immediate neighborhood. And so my realtor did a video of the neighborhood for me, and I determined that there was indeed quite a bit of blight in the community, and I elected to withdraw my offer just based on that alone. Another thing that I noticed was that the road that I was purchasing had a gravel driveway, and I know most people don't care about that. And here in Arkansas, they're like everywhere, and they're no big deal. But where I came from, we got a lot of snow, and my level of comfort was such that I didn't want to deal with a gravel driveway with snow or the specter of snow. And so that was something that was important to me. And, I didn't want to buy a house that had a gravel driveway for the street. So just another thing to determine in advance, of course, the things that are important to you. and relay those things to your realtor so that they know what to look out for. Another thing to consider are environmental odors. For example, a chicken house or a garbage dump. These things might not be readily known, particularly airflow patterns, and so ask. It should be relatively easy to determine if a home is within close proximity of some kind of institution or business that might, have odors that you can detect going outside, because frankly speaking, that can affect your personal enjoyment of the home that you're purchasing. And just to underscore, it is relatively easy to affix one of those like smartphone gizmos to your windshield. I mean, myself speaking as a realtor, and to basically turn my phone on and drive around a neighborhood so as to convey to my buyer either live FaceTime, Facebook Messenger, or just simply recording a video so that they can see what the neighborhood looks like. And that's really no big deal to do. And so I would encourage you, if this is something that you're interested in doing, just to investigate those options, because it's very important. If you can't physically be there, it's a good idea to investigate to the extent that you're able what the surrounding community looks like. With all that said, I am living proof that it is indeed possible to purchase a home sight unseen successfully. I'm not advocating it as the most ideal way to purchase a home. I would argue that it is not the most ideal way, but sometimes there are extenuating circumstances that necessitate this process. And so I'm hopeful that the suggestions that I've provided today are useful to you, particularly if this is something that you're considering. If some of the suggestions that I've put forth, if you find that I could elaborate on them, or if perhaps you have suggestions of your own or feedback, please share in the comments below, and please like the video. I'm Jill Varvel. This is Dixiecast, the sound of the South, and I will see you next time for another heaping helping of Southern comfort for your ears.